My name is Josh McCollum. I'm the coordinator for the Graduate College for admissions and records. I serve as the point of contact for all potential students that are wanting to come to the grad college. We do maintain a web page for our grad population, and I'll go ahead and share that so that we can see it. And on this page, we try to make it kind of a one-stop shop to serve our graduate population as far as where they can go to get all the information that they would need, not only to apply, but also to the various programs that we have. This is the homepage for the graduate college, and it is linked from the NSU homepage. If you go to the NSU homepage, scroll down slightly, you'll see a link to the graduate college. As you kind of review the page, we have the application. We can explore degree certificates. We can look at the graduate catalog. If we have potential students that's wanting information as far as specific information about a particular program, what we recommend that you do is you fill out what we call a request for information. That's this box here. We just gather some basic information about you, your intended major, and what that will do is that will not only put you in touch with the graduate college, it'll also put you in touch with a specific program that you're wanting information for. New to the graduate college this year is we also have a digital view book. Our digital view book tells about all of our different programs as far as number of hours, cost, that sort of thing, and gives an overview of the graduate college. Also within this page, we have information about funding and scholarships. On the left, you can select the information that you're looking for. Something new for this fall is all of our graduate scholarships they now have an online application. So that is found in this area. We have some information here about financial aid and how to fund your graduate degree. And then if you're anyone that's interested in a graduate assistant position, we also have information about that as well. And then also new for this fall is we have moved the application for graduate students, professional development, and research grants to an online application, and that is found here. And this is something that, depending on funding, which varies from year to year, we do fund various research projects, conference fees, professional development, that sort of thing for graduate students that need assistance. The maximum award will be $750 for that, and then the maximum award for a graduate college scholarship is $250. Also within this page, we have direct links to all of our degrees and certificates so that you don't have to search the web page. We try to put everything here for the student, and that way you can find what you're looking for really quick. Earlier this year, we launched a graduate orientation that is 100% online. You just select the graduate orientation, and you also get a link post-admission to that graduate orientation. And you do have to register for it, and it is a come and go. Once you register for it, you can start it, you can come back and finish it. It has a lot of good information in there about our 3 campuses and then specific information for the graduate population. When you're ready to apply, you just select to go apply. Make sure that you are applying for the correct term, and make sure that when you're applying that you know, because we have some programs that are cohorted programs, which means they have specific start terms. So you want to make sure that you look at those as well so that you are applying to the correct term. Post-admissions. This is just a next steps. It's just a quick guide for the graduate student to kind of go through to see, how to navigate the system so that they can get enrolled. It's very important that the graduate student post-admission reaches out to their advisor. All of this information will be in their admission email and in their admission letter. We also have information about entrance exam. Most programs are phasing out entrance exams, but we still have a handful of programs that have retained the entrance exam requirement. So it's important that when you're selecting your degree that you look at that information on whether or not an entrance exam is required. And then basically from apply for graduation down, this is for later on in your graduate career. Also new for summer of 2020, we moved the thesis submission online as well, so that the folks that are doing a thesis or capstone will come to the thesis submission tab, hit the thesis capstone submission form, and then they will upload their thesis or capstone online. That pretty much wraps it up as far as an overview of the graduate college. Like I said, I'm here. I'll serve as a primary point of contact for when you get ready to apply. Any information about the programs, I can serve as a facilitator to get you in touch with program coordinators, program chairs. They're all wonderful people to work with. And one thing that I can't stress enough is to fill out this request for information form so that we can definitely get you in our system and we can get you pointed in the right direction and get you the information that you need. Are there any questions? I'm not hearing any questions, and it don't look like there's any in the chat. So, one thing I forgot to mention is that we do have a graduate assistant that is here. Her name is Billy Jo Gordon. I'm going to have to step out, but she will be here for the duration. If anyone has any questions, she can actually answer most of those questions. Billy Jo, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
Billy Jo is in the leadership program. She is in her last 2 semesters. She's been in the graduate college in various positions for about 2 years. Is that right?
Yep, about 2 years.
Yeah. She's a good resource if any students want, firsthand information of what the leadership program looks like from a student perspective. She is a good resource.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I will turn the time over to Dr. Edwards, who will speak about the Master of Business Administration program.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm Sandy Edwards, the MBA Director for NSU, and our Masters of Business Administration program is a 36-hour program. There are 8 required classes, and then there are 4 classes in an emphasis. So we offer quite a few emphases. We have 8 to be precise, and the programs can be done fully online, or they can be done fully face-to-face, or you could do hybrid. We predominantly have online in the hybrid. We are doing some VCM or Zoom classes at the moment as well. So the 8 options are general management, business analytics, Native American enterprise, environmental health and safety management, healthcare administration, healthcare informatics, long-term care, and managerial accounting and finance. I hope I did 8. I lost count there for a second. So those are some of our emphases, and they have 4 classes within them, so you actually get a good base of the emphasis itself, where some universities will only have a couple in there. So that way you get a real strong base in that emphasis that you're interested in. We have just recently started offering 8-week classes. So we do have 5 starts basically. So students could start in the spring, January, March, June, August, and October. So we have those 5 different starts because we do have 8-week classes. We also have 16-week classes. So there are some courses that have stayed, the more quantitative courses have stayed at the 16-week format. So you get the time that you need to study those. So in the MBA as well, we have in order to be admitted, we look at your transcript to see if you have the following undergraduate prereqs, which are some type of statistics of either math or business statistics, accounting, financial accounting, principles of finance, and principles of marketing. If the student does not have those, then they are allowed to either take undergraduate classes, which would be for the regular fee, or we actually use a third-party vendor called Ivy Software that we provide those 4 topics at only $75 a piece. They don't take the whole semester, so students could get those prereqs without having to take actual undergrad classes. We also, for admission, you have, of course, to have an undergraduate transcript, and then our entrance exam, we require the GMAT as long as you are under 3.0. If you have a 3.0 undergraduate GPA or higher, we do waive the GMAT. Under the 3.0, you can also request a waiver based upon your work experience and letters of recommendations and that kind of thing. So that is the entrance requirement at this moment. One last thing is if you're still an undergraduate, we have a program called ADP, which is an accelerated degree plan. So if you were wanting to, if you're in College of Business, if you're in the College of Business and you wanted to pursue something like business analytics, you could actually take the classes that at 5,000 level classes at both levels one time and count it for twice. So that saves you quite a bit of money for 4 classes. So, but of course you have to catch that when you're in the undergraduate program. You sign up for the ADP, you can count those classes twice. One of the criteria is that you must go straight into the master's program. So once you get the undergraduate degree, you must do that next semester in the graduate program. You can stop out after that for a semester or 2 if you need to, but the next semester after your undergraduate does need to be taken. And then we have 3 graduate level certificates. We have a business analytics certificate, which has 15 hours. We have an operations leadership certificate with like operations management that would have 4 classes or 12 credit hours. And then we also have a healthcare administration certificate with the 12 credit hours as well. So sometimes students come do the certificate, which gives you some documentation of completion, and then you may be interested in going on into the full MBA. So that is a kind of just a brief basic. I will be sending Alicia Douglas the PowerPoints, so if you want to get hold of her for some PowerPoints, I didn't realize we could have some, so I ended up not sending those, but I will send a set of PowerPoints, and you can always call me at 918-449-6542 and ask any questions you'd like. Any questions at the moment? Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards. So at this time, if Dr. Kim would like to speak about the Master of Science in Health and Sports Science program.
Okay, hello. My name is Musong Kim. I'm the Department Chair of Health and Kinesiology. Actually, I'm going to introduce our new master programs, Health and Sports Science. So can I share my screen first? Okay. Can you see my screens? Okay.
Yes.
So in our programs, actually, we have two options, health education options and sports administration and management options. So I'm going to briefly introduce some of the important characteristics of our programs. So our programs is designed to help students to pursue their diverse interests in the field of health and sports science, especially to the professions of health educators and sports administrators. So our coursework and fieldwork actually focusing on developing knowledge in the area of health education and sports administration and management. Also, we provide students with opportunity to have hands-on experience, especially necessary for the professions as health educator and sports administrators. One advantage of our program is actually allowing students to develop their skill set they need without interrupting their careers through the flexible schedule and online format. Actually, we offer both face-to-face and online classes. Actually, the online program is in the final stage of approval. Actually, we are expecting to obtain this final approval at the end of this month or next month. Also, we offer 8 weeks classes and 16 weeks classes. So this allows students to focusing on one course or 2 courses at one time. So we believe this flexible schedule will enhance students' quality of their learning by focusing on 1 course or 2 courses at a time. Also, students can start our program anytime, like fall semester or spring semester. So students do not need to waiting for their academic year if they miss the academic admission deadlines. Also, our curriculum is designed to help students complete their master degree within 2 years, even though they start programs at any time like fall semester or spring semester. So students will not have any breaks for their graduation. So we guarantee students actually to complete their degree within 2 years. And another things that students might consider when selecting graduate program is, I think, the tuitions. So as you can see, our students just need $9,000 for their tuition in order to complete our master programs. You cannot imagine how much this tuition is affordable. You know, our tuition is way affordable compared to Master of Sports Management in Arkansas State University. Actually, you know, they are number 2 most affordable master in sports management in the nation. So our students can obtain our master degree with the most affordable tuition in our programs. And let me talk about our program curriculums. You know, our programs actually consist of 17 hours of health and sports science core, and we have 15 hours of each option, health education and sports administration and management. Health and sports science course actually focusing on 2 important areas. So first of all, students actually develop knowledge and skills about data analysis and research method through our core courseworks. Actually having knowledge and skills about data analysis and research design is very important for any types of business. Especially if you pursue a kind of management or director position, data analysis skills or research design skills are very important. Also, our core curriculum include practical application and hands-on experience in the health and sports science areas. Through this coursework, students actually have an opportunity to get actual experience in the field of health education and sports administration and management. Our sports administration and management options actually help students develop the leadership ability and administrative proficiency for the area of sports administration and management. Especially our coursework, some of our courses are offered by the business departments. Actually, these can provide students with more in-depth knowledge about financial and marketing aspects of sports administration and management. And students who graduate with the sports administration and management option, they could have a positions such as athletic directors, athletic administrators, and facility management and sports event coordinators. And our health education options actually help students develop the competencies and skills necessary to succeed as health education specialists. Especially students will have ability to plan, implement, and evaluate health education and health promotion program in a variety of clinical and non-clinical settings. Also, by the end of our program, students will be eligible for taking the Certified Health Education Specialist exams. And this degree actually prepares graduates for education and leadership-oriented positions in their community and schools, like school health specialist and community health educator or community health program director and employee wellness coordinators. Actually, these positions actually plan and develop strategy to improve our health. So if students need more information on our programs such as admissions or admission requirements, please do not hesitate to contact me at kimm@nsuok.edu or call me at 918-444-3217. So if you do not have any more questions, thank you for your attention for my presentations.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. I appreciate you sharing that information with us. Dr. Cambiano, I'll leave it up to you for the MS in Leadership program.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited today to talk to you about the Master of Science in Leadership. This program, housed in the College of Ed, is a 36-hour program with an 18-18 split. What does that mean, you ask? That means you'll do 18 hours of core leadership courses and then 18 hours in the options. Currently, we have an American Indian leadership option, college teaching, higher ed administration, training and development, and professional studies. A lot of you have asked before, what is professional studies? Well, basically that is build your own degree. You'll do the 18 hours of core in the leadership core, and then you will build an 18-hour option. What else about the program? Well, there's not an entrance exam. We voted that out. So what is required is 3 recommendation forms, a leadership philosophy, all of which is submitted with a plan of study and a statement of academic integrity in your portal on the graduate website. And that's what you need to do for admission. Now, of course, you got to meet the admission requirements for the graduate college. We require an undergraduate GPA of 3.0. Let me see what else. We have 6 start dates. You can start January, March, June, July, August, or October. Most of our courses are 8 weeks. Our research courses, practicum and thesis, are 16 weeks. All of our courses are 100% online. Here's what we do though. We do have required synchronous meetings, meaning that we will come together via Zoom 3 to 4 times a semester. We also have graduate assistantships. If you're thinking about American Indian leadership or higher ed admin, we're working with university partners to place students in GA positions strategically that align with the option in which you are obtaining your degree. Also, we have 3 embedded certificates: American Indian Leadership, Higher Ed Admin, and Training and Development. So, what do you do with a Master's of Science in Leadership degree? You can do a lot of things, but first let me share my screen. See what we've been training the future. Mentorship is embedded in the degree program, so you're not just going to class, learning the academic knowledge. You are actually being mentored by a faculty member. Myself and Dr. Maria Christian are the 2 faculty members in the program. And then whichever option that you're in, you also have mentorship within that as well. Our website, you can get to there by going to the, I'm going to stop share, going to the Graduate College website, programs, or you can go to the College of Ed and look up the leadership degree as well. Today in our Zoom, Jen Lowell is with us. She is a graduate assistant for the Department of Ed Leadership, and she is in the Master of Science in Leadership. She'll be available during the Q&A if you have questions about being a graduate student and what the course load looks like and the expectations, those kinds of things. Now, don't forget, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'm Renee Kimbiano. I am the program chair. My extension is 3741, direct line 444-371. And my email is cambiare@nsuok.edu. I look forward to you being a part of the program. Give us a call if you have any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Cambiano. At this time, Dr. Bang is available. Turn it over to him. Dr. Bang, your mic is muted.
I am so sorry. Yeah, my name is Dr. Unjun Bang. I'm the Department Chair of Social Work, and also I am the Director of the Graduate Social Work Program. Our program is, our program helps our students to become clinicians in the field of social work. Our main focus is clinical social work. In fact, we do have several competitor school like OU, a social work department, and the University of Arkansas social work program. And their main focus is in general social work practice, where our focus is clinical social work. So that is our strengths, one of the strengths of our program. And our emphasis in either indigenous and rural community, and also behavioral health and children, adolescents. I want to share one more main strengths of our program. One of the main strengths of our program is the uniqueness of being the only MSU program focused on clinical practice with indigenous and rural population across the states. We're the only program that focuses on indigenous and rural populations. We do have 2 different program options. One option we call advanced standing program. A student can complete master's degree in social work within 1 year if they have bachelor degree in social work from a CSWE accredited program. Also, students, they can have part-time and they can attend our program as 2 year and they can graduate. For students who do not have BSW degree or undergraduate in social work, they can apply for our traditional pathway program, which it takes about 2 years to complete the degree. For advanced standing full-time degree, it requires a total of 32 hours to complete. So our students, they are studying their degree in summer, every summer. We are based on cohort system. So when once they start their program the summer, they're finishing up their degree following year in May. And traditional pathway, it's total of 50 credit hours to graduate. It takes 2 years to graduate. And in order for students to get into our program, they have to have at least 3.0 on a 4-point scale. However, we still would love to provide some opportunities for students who do not meet GPA requirement by providing conditional admission status. Still, students, they have to have 2.80 to be considered conditional admission status. Once they get accepted into our program with a conditional admission status, we give them 1 semester to prove that they can complete their degree successfully, and they must have at least 3.5 GPA during their first 9 hours of the program in order to advance to regular admissions. And then this is information for application materials, what they need to do, what a student needs to turn in when they apply for a social work program. Require updated resume or VITA or and also cover letter, letter of intent, and 3 reference letters. Also, we ask our students to write their professional personal statements. We provided the list of questions students need to answer. And those are our degree plans. Like I said, I had 32 hours to complete for advanced standing with student with undergraduate degree in social work. All classes are offered 1 day a week. All classes are offered 1 day a week. So students, they do not really have to commute to campus like 2 or 3 times per week because we offer all classes 1 day a week. This is another strength of our program. This is our traditional pathway degree plan, which is 58 hours to complete the degree in Master of Social Work. Our program is 32 hours for advanced standing. However, OU, they require 4 additional hours to complete as advanced standing. So we are 4 hours less than OU, and then 8 hours less than University of Arkansas Fort Smith. Fayetteville. And then we are for treasurer pathway, we have a 58 hours to complete for this degree, but OU require 3 additional hours. And then in the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville, they require more additional hours to complete. So we are shorter than other universities' degree hours. And then I want to compare a cost of tuition per credit. University of Arkansas, Fayetteville, their per credit is $478, and OU is $346, close to $350. Then our program is $273, so which is much cheaper than OU and then University of Arkansas. Any questions? No questions? Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bong. If we could turn the time over to Dr. Anderson for the MA in American Studies program.
All right, thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? Can I get some nods?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Well, look, I wanted to use this time actually to answer a basic question: what is American Studies? I mean, when we hear about Masters in Social Work, for example, or criminal justice, we have a pretty good idea of what that is. But what is American Studies? So American Studies is the study of the American experience and American culture. One of the scholars in the field in the 1950s, John Kuenhoven, asked the question, what's American about America? And that's really a question that scholars in this field seek to answer. And in Kuenhoven's time, there was an assumption that there was a coherent, holistic American culture that everyone could relate to in the same way. But in the last 70 years or so, scholars in this field have really sought to understand relationships between Americans who come from different experiences and for whom the notion of America, the notion of their country, the notion of its fundamental values might differ. So today we ask questions like, what are the challenges and possibilities of realizing a democratic society? One of the great things about American Studies is that it's an interdisciplinary program. That is, it draws upon the content and the methodology of disciplines such as history and English, anthropology, political science, Cherokee and Indigenous studies, geography, sociology, criminal justice, and that's a real strength. Now, the program does have a particular strength in American Indian Studies and American Cultural Studies. Those are areas that a lot of students choose to concentrate on. But really, you can put together a course that brings your interests under one roof. So, for example, let's imagine that you're interested in working for a tribal nonprofit. And you think, well, wouldn't it be great to learn about the intersection between federal, state, and tribal law? Well, that's great. Dr. Wiles teaches a course on Native American law and justice through the Criminal Justice Department that's also offered through American Studies as a graduate course. Well, what if you wanted to back that up with a greater historical understanding of Indigenous history? Well, if you're in the American Studies program, you could also take Dr. King's course on history of Native Americans in Oklahoma. And perhaps you could complement that with a course by Dr. Lee from the English department on Native mythology and folklore. So the great thing about American Studies is that you can take these courses that mirror your interests and bring them together in one place. And that allows you to develop a broader range of skills and methodologies, a broader content knowledge than if you focused on one program. So that's American Studies. That's part of the appeal of it. It's a flexible degree. You can take it 100% online, or you can take a mixture of online, Zoom, and face-to-face classes. There are several concentrations, and you have thesis or internship options. So it's a 36-hour degree, and it enables you to bring a lot of your interests together. Now, you'll probably, I'm going to wait for a second because it looks as if my connection is buffering. I'm going to unmute here. So I was just asking the question, what can you do with a master's degree in American Studies? And I was saying that jobs in public history, in nonprofits and related fields are available. Community college instructors require 18 graduate hours in their subject areas, so that you can do that through the American Studies program. Current K through 12 teachers often take this degree in order to improve their professional qualifications and earn promotions and raises. And it's a stepping stone to further graduate study as well in any of the constituent disciplines, as well as the law. So if you look at the career trajectory of some of our alums, We have Kevin, who is a 2017 graduate, is a doctoral student in history at SNU, specializing in Native American education. Jason is a Sand Springs high school teacher, teaches 9th grade political science. Lori is an investment relations manager at the Broken Arrow Chamber of Commerce. Lori, I'm referring to, is Lori Lewis, a 2012 American Studies graduate. And she, as part of her American Studies degree, did an internship at the Broken Arrow Museum. And they were so impressed that they hired her. She rose to the position of executive director. And then through the contacts and the networks that she had developed, she was able to move into investor relations for the Broken Arrow Chamber of Commerce. So an American Studies master's degree can take you in a number of different directions, as well as really satisfying your intellectual curiosity as well. If you're interested, please drop me a line. I'm at andersoi@nsuok.edu. Okay, my name is Ian Anderson. And we accept applications on a rolling basis prior to the start of any semester. So if you're interested, please get in touch, and I look forward to speaking with you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. We have 2 more presentations left, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So the last 2 presentations is the MED in School Administration and the Speech Language Pathology program. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Shornick, and then shortly after her, Dr. Quarles. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paula Shornick from School Administration. Our program is a 36-hour program geared toward preparing individuals to become school principals, elementary, middle school, secondary principals. To get principal certification, in addition to the master's degree, you also have to take the state administrator exam. And I think I will share my screen and take you through our plan of study. So like many of the other graduate programs, we no longer require entrance exams. So I have marked through the right placer exam and the MAT or GRE exam. So for program admissions, we do require a goals essay. We also ask that you upload a copy of your teaching certificate, and then you will upload or have 3 references upload 3 letters of recommendation. So that is our school admin program admissions process. So this is a program that is for educators, teachers, and we also have a program, a certificate program, if an individual already has a master's degree. For example, someone may have been a teacher and then got a master's degree in science ed, and then they decide later on that they want to become a principal. So if they already have a master's degree, then they can do our certification program to prepare them for the principalship. So our master's program that we're looking at right here is a 36-hour program. And I'll scroll on down to show you the plan of study, the courses that are required. Our courses are in 2 chunks plus the internship chunk. So I guess that's 3 chunks. The first group of courses are called professional ed courses, and there are 4 of those, 4 3-hour courses. So a person would take ed research, fundamentals of curriculum development, advanced ed measurements, and then cognitive learning styles. And in those courses, there will be students getting master's degrees in other areas, not just school admin. So those are the professional ed courses. They're more general. And then there are 6 courses in our school admin core. And so when you take those courses, you will be in class with people getting master's degrees in school admin. So we have a more general course that covers everything called Fundamentals of School Admin. Then we have a finance course, instructional leadership, which is like teacher evaluation, teacher supervision. We have a PR course, an ed statistics course, and a legal course. And then it's, like I said, a 36-hour program. So that makes up 30 hours. The last 6 hours are our internships. So in our program, we don't require what some know as a thesis, and we don't require a research paper. What we do in our internships is a school improvement plan, where we go through the process during both internship semesters. Internship 1 is 1 semester, internship 2 is another semester of the following semester. And so candidates in those courses, they begin in internship 1 looking at school demographic data. Then they move on in a few weeks to looking at student assessment data, and all to try to find a student learning problem, achievement gaps. And then they do a little bit of research and look at best practices, and then design a program. And so most of our students, not all, but most are actually in a school as a teacher at the time they're taking these courses. So the internships are designed to be done while people have their regular jobs. And hopefully when you're doing the internships, you'll be able to use your own school and your own teachers as part of your project. So you design a program, and then in internship 2, you actually implement the program in your school. So it's a field-based experience. You write a paper about it, and that is what we call the capstone, and that is the paper, the big paper for our master's program. In the order in which the courses are taken is totally up to the candidate. You do not have to start at the top and work your way down. You can take these in any order you want. The only rule is that you have to take the internships in your last 2 semesters. And we do have another document available. This is called the rotating schedule. So when I meet with new advisees at the beginning of their program, we look at this and we come up with, we look at all the courses and we decide, my first question is, how many classes do you want to take a semester? A lot of people take 1 3-hour course a semester at the beginning, but you can take 6. If you're working full-time, 9 is probably a little bit too much. So I ask, how many courses a semester do you want to take? Do you want to go in the summer? Because most of our courses are offered a lot of our courses are offered in the summer, not the internships, because you're supposed to be in a school with teachers and kids. And normally that is in the fall and spring. Things are different right now. But anyway, so I ask those questions, and then I come up with a plan, a schedule. But then there's always flexibility. If a student decides, I only want to take 1 class this semester, but we had written down 2, then this rotating schedule is the guiding document that tells us, okay, yeah, this class will be available when we need it, or we'll have to wait. And so it's like a puzzle. But all of our courses now are online. We do use Zoom quite a bit for the internships. We have like anywhere from 4 to 6 required meetings each semester, but those required class meetings are at a set time on a set day, and they're through Zoom. So what else might I tell you about the program? And like I said, you do have to actually get the principal certification to have principal on your teaching certificate. You do have to pass the state exam, and we prepare our candidates for that exam within our program. And so we have a pretty high success rate on that exam when our candidates take that principal's exam during their last 2 semesters of the program. What else might I tell you? Some of the candidates in our program they say that they aren't interested in being an administrator at this point, but they do want a master's degree in school administration, and that is fine. You can complete the 36-hour program, have your master's degree, and never take the state test, and just walk away, and that's fine. So what might you do if you don't take or you don't pass the principal's test, well, you still have the master's degree, which would maybe bump you up on the pay scale in your school system. And then we've had a lot of candidates, I've had a lot of people tell me that the information that we cover in the school admin program really helps them become better teachers in their own schools, in their own classrooms, because we look at, as a teacher, you know that you get evaluated and you know what the rubric looks like, but you might not know the principal side of that. And the thought process the principal goes through when completing those evaluations. So just going through the courses, the 36 hours, I think everybody would say helps them become, or helps them to be better teachers, better educators. I think I said everything there is to say. And most of our courses are 16 weeks. We do, you will find within this 36 hours, some courses that are offered in an 8-week format. Those are going to be usually up here in this professional ed group. And then every once in a while, you'll find some of these in a face-to-face format. But as far as the school admin core goes, those are most usually in a 16-week format, and they're online. And we do have some students in our program that are from out of state. That's one of the nice things about doing the online is that we have Arkansas students and Texas students, and that really just adds to the courses because they have different information, different state requirements as far as public ed goes. And so it really does work well. So I will stop sharing and see if there are any questions at this point. Okay, I'm finished. I'll turn it over to the next speaker.
Dr. Quarles, your mic is on mute. Okay.
So I apologize for that. I am Dr. Quarles. I am the director of the speech pathology program, and share a little bit about our program. We are different than the one that just finished discussing theirs, that we are a cohort program, that everyone starts together and finishes together. I think there's a lot of advantages to that. We know exactly where the students are. They really do grow to be very close. All of our classes are face-to-face, so there's a lot of opportunities for networking. As a speech pathologist, there are a lot of our therapy strategies that they practice on one another. Hearing screenings, they practice on one another. I think our students are rock stars. I think we have saved the best program for last today. So we do have a summer start so that you get a head start on some of this coursework before you actually start into some of the practicum opportunities, actually doing therapy. We have clinics in Tahlequah, on the Muskogee campus, and on the Broken Arrow campus. So you finish that first year that is just coursework, as well as having the opportunities to learn speech therapy. And then there's the second summer of courses. And then this last year is spent doing an internship and an externship. There is 1 day of classes on Mondays, and the rest of the week is spent at an internship and at a variety of sites in a variety of states, wherever your home state might be. We frequently can arrange some internship opportunities there. But our students do come together once a week on Mondays to take these final classes. A primary part of our classes this last year is to prepare you for your licensing exams. And then in the spring semester, you are out at your externship full time. So I want to take a little bit of a different angle with my discussion with you is to just let you know even what speech pathology is and the fun that we have with it. My husband has for years said that I don't work for a living, I play. That we have so much variety to every day of our practice. We do so many different things. We provide alternative and augmentative communication for people like Dr. Stephen Hawking. And throughout these slides, there are links that you can go to that I think are a lot of fun and very informational. And you can see how you actually change people's lives. We help people who struggle with feeding and swallowing, whether that's someone who, as life has gone on, has developed some tremors. This is a great spoon that actually, no matter what position your hand is in or the kinds of tremors, engineers have developed some great technology to provide some opportunities for people to actually be able to get food to their mouth independently and safely. It might be someone who struggles with swallowing concerns. We have children who are tube fed that we're helping them experience food for the first time. We work with those who are deaf, and some may prefer to learn sign language, and technology is just continually providing new and more opportunities for our clients, including cochlear implants. And I love this picture because here's this young lady who has gotten a cochlear implant, and her dad chose to shave his head and go get a cochlear implant tattoo for them to just be bonded buddies forever. We work with those who sound like Elmer Fudd or Daffy Duck, who might have a lisp, or the Wascally Wabbit. So we work with those people to help them be able to pronounce words better. We help those who have voice concerns. It might be an individual who had a laryngectomy and literally does not have a voice box anymore, that there's a variety of technologies that we can offer to them. In fact, things that are simple like this, I'm going to say, I love my job, but I will actually say it like this. But with this, I love my job. I'm not as good with that. There's lots of things that we can do with families and with our clients to increase their opportunities. This is a precious little girl who has some significant concerns with nasality. So sometimes that's due to something like a cleft palate that was difficult to repair. There's a variety of reasons why someone may have concerns with nasality. People who use their voice a lot, coaches who yell a lot, or singers can sometimes end up abusing their vocal cords over time and have some difficulty speaking. And we can work with people who have concerns like that. Those who stutter. Each one of these slides has an amazing link to it. This young man, there's several people that are interviewed in this little 2-minute YouTube video, but this young man, I'm so impressed with him and his maturity and discussing the concerns that they have. So this one just kind of provides you an overall, we can work with people of all ages, so many different concerns, and you may see a variety of these even in 1 week. The settings that we work in are very different. I started my career in the public schools, became a director of special education for a public school system. That led to an opportunity to start my own manufacturing company, creating materials for speech pathologists. Sold that, went to early intervention, and now I'm teaching at the university level. So even once you've made a career path, it doesn't mean you have to stay in that same venue forever. People work in hospitals, people work with the elderly, speech pathologists work with babies even. One thing that I enjoyed in early intervention was I was one of the people who would go out and retest the hearing of a baby who had failed the newborn hearing test at their hospital. So we just have a variety of things that we enjoy doing. So here is my contact information. Please feel free to email me. I'm happy to answer any questions. Our website, I apologize, is pretty awful right now. We have fixed it several times this semester, but our university is doing some updates, and that has affected our website, especially the MS page. So you're not going to find very good information on our webpage right now, but the grad college has accurate information in our application process, which is very simple. It's very similar to what everyone else has described, the letters of recommendation, and we're removing our requirement for an admission exam. So be very happy to visit with anyone and answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Quarles. Are there any students who have any general questions that they would like to ask our faculty? Or if there's any of our faculty who might have some other information that they would like to share, you're more than welcome to take this time and do that as well. There are a couple of questions that I would like to ask, and I'll just leave it up to anybody who would want to answer the question. Is what advice can you give to students who are looking to go into grad school, and how they might be able to better prepare themselves?
I'll jump in there. And Jen, this might be a good question for you as well. The GAs, I don't know if Billy Joe is still in there, but some of the advice that I give is if you're not in a cohort program like the speech path, find a buddy and walk through the program with somebody, because it's really helpful to have an individual that you can talk to about the curriculum. The other thing I would say is in most of our programs, be prepared to write. So if you're not good at the writing component, help yourself get better at that. Persistence is key to a grad program, and loving what you're doing. I mean, that passion. I see students change programs, and it's usually because they get in a program and they're like, and then they find their program and they're like, oh my gosh, this is me. So make sure you have passion. Most of our grad students are working professionals, and without that passion in the grad school, it becomes last on the list, and it has to be a priority.
Yeah, that is such good advice, Dr. Cambiano. You said so many things that I was thinking and better than I could have. But find your passion, yes. Practice your writing, yes. Find a buddy. Work through the process together, yes. All of those things. And I would also add, come speak to a professor. Professors might seem unapproachable. maybe, but please understand that professors want to talk to you. They want to help you. They take pride in their programs, and part of the one of the most rewarding things about our job is working with students and watching them and helping facilitate their development intellectually and so on. So come see us. We're actually quite approachable, and sometimes it can just be so much easier to ask your questions in person rather than trying to hunt through everything online. Okay, so thanks, Dr. Cambiano, for sharing. I endorse what you were saying.
I might add to that and say that my bachelor's degree came from NSU, but my master's and my PhD came from OU, University of Oklahoma, and I loved my time at OU. But I do have to say that, and I know I'm a professor now instead of a graduate student, but I feel, just comparing OU and NSU, but the professors at NSU are so approachable, which goes back to what the other two were saying. In the classes are smaller at NSU than those I was in as a student at OU. It's just a different environment. And so I think there's a lot to be said about the small class sizes and just the sense of family and community in our classes, something that you might not get at a state university. And and I can only speak to the school admin, the principal and superintendent test scores, but I know that at NSU our students have a very high, a higher success rate than a lot of the other major universities in the state. So I know we're doing a good job, and our students are, they go on and do. My students go on and they usually stay in this area, Broken Arrow, Tulsa, the Tahlequah area, and they do great things. They become superintendents of small districts, large districts, and they stay in it for a long time. So I think, we have really good stuff going on at NSU, and, I would put our program up against OU's or OSU's any day. So that's my speech, my soapbox.
Dr. Cambiano, there is one question in the chat that I wanted to make sure that you have the time to answer it. It's from Ms. Goodrich. She had asked if the MS Leadership in Higher Education requires a thesis.
That's an excellent question, and a question a lot of grad students ask. We actually have a capstone or thesis option. And both are writing, and one is a writing component and one is a research component. But that thesis is so much fun. You want to be able to collect data and write a thesis. Believe me, we will walk you through the process. If you are fearful of doing research, a lot of our students start the program and think, I'm going to do a capstone. And then when they get to the thesis, they're like, oh, this research, I can do this. So don't be afraid of research. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. Thank you. And there was another question about the speech language pathology program, and so I would like to give Dr. Quarles a moment to answer that as well. And that is, what does NSU do differently that would make the SLP program worth it?
We have been dialoguing a little bit back and forth in chat, answering that question. And I am all about the NSU program. And I have to tell you, my degrees came from other universities in Oklahoma. And I have been promoting NSU as my favorite program long before I came to NSU to work. Our program, it's very sad in the speech pathology world. There is a huge shortage of speech pathologists, and very few of the speech pathology graduate programs or even undergraduate programs anymore are actually being taught by speech pathologists. They're being taught by linguists or people with other degrees. We have some trainings within our program that are in addition to the coursework or embedded within the coursework that we have that are of no additional cost, that you can place on your resume when you graduate, that I am officially trained in this. LAMP training, for example, with augmentative and alternative communication, the FEES training that allows you to sit for the exams for that specific certification to allow you to work with those who have swallowing concerns or possibly even do the swallow studies. There are several examples of that. I have a minor in audiology, so that is one of my passion areas. And we have multiple sound booths that we can use as part of our trainings, all types of hearing equipment, OAEs, ABRs, tympanometers. So you really are trained in anything that you would need to do as a practicing speech pathologist. You wouldn't have to, we're not one that just trains you to be able to do one thing. There are a few of the programs that, for instance, you may go and you are fully trained in the ability to work with the deaf, but maybe you're weak in some other areas. So you can come to NSU not knowing exactly where you may go with your professional career later, or even have the option to make changes along time because you have a really good base in your training here. Sorry, I get kind of passionate about that. I could go on and on and on.